What is going on, YouTube? It is All Things Mets. This is where you get your latest Mets media. Everything you know about the Mets on this channel. Definitely do me a favor, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as you see here, we have a new little setup here for some videos. So definitely, guys, this video topic is going to be about Steve Cohen and what he has said recently. Are the Mets stacked? He's calling them stacked, apparently, but are they stacked in pitching? We're going to get into, overall some pitchers, the minor leagues, what I'm thinking, and yeah, honestly, let's just enjoy the video. Let's have a good time. And yeah, let's do it, man. But Steve Cohen, has recently said the Mets are close to getting stacked when it comes to in the prospects. But the question is, are they stacked in pitching? Now, the Mets are in a better place with pitching in some time. And I'm not going to lie, I am very, very excited about, and I think you Met fans should also be excited about as well, because there's a lot of talent out there, a lot of guys that are impressing scouts, just doing their thing. And I love it. I love exactly what I'm seeing here. So we're going to get to overall just another thing here to talk about, and that is going to be Christian Scott. He is possibly the best pitching prospect in the system, and I freaking love it because this guy, Christian Scott, is a guy that, was a reliever, when he was drafted, but he and the Mets have converted him into a starter, and he has done really, really good. He had a real good ERA in low A, and then he had a really good ERA in double A. His results did not change. He did his thing. He looks really, really good, and he's possibly going to be in Triple A to start the season. He should be in Triple A to start the season. I believe he's going to be, but he's a guy, I don't know if you guys saw him, but in a recent spring training game, he had 4 innings, 7 strikeouts, guys. This guy looked untouchable. He looked really good out there. He did allow 1 home run, but at the end of the day, Christian Scott, this is a guy that has a fastball that has really good ride to it, guys. 96 to 97 miles per hour, really good ride to it. He has a sweeper that looks nasty. He has a slider that looks, close to a Jacob deGrom slider. If you really think about what that slider looks like, and Jacob deGrom slider, that is what that slider looks like. So he has a lot of run to it, and man, really, really good. He has a split change also, but Christian Scott, this guy is a guy that can possibly be in the rotation in 2024 at some point. That's how good he is, and he's made jumps over guys like Mike Vassell. He's made jumps over guys like Dominic Hamill, and this guy Christian Scott is possibly the best pitching prospect in the, at least closest to the major leagues. And that's what I really like about this guy. But also what I really like about him is he pitches with confidence. That is what I really like about him. He feels himself out there when he's on the mound, and that is something that you can't teach. You got to have that confidence, and you can't teach that. I don't think that you could teach that. You can't teach that type of confidence. And man, that slider looks nasty. That sweeper that he's been working on looks nasty. And he's doing everything that he can to get to the major leagues, because this is a guy that, like I said, was once a reliever, but now converted to a starter. Just has been really, really good for the Mets and a fast riser. So we'll see what the future holds for a guy like Christian Scott. But I'm telling you guys, everybody, a lot of Mets fans should be excited about Christian Scott, because this guy looks like the real deal. And I hope that this guy comes to the major league soon, because if guys like Tyler McGill, guys like Jose Butto do not perform, Christian Scott is going to put pressure on those guys, and he's possibly going to get a call up. So if I was Tyler McGill, or if I was Jose Butto, I would be performing the best I can possibly, because they don't want their spot taken. And if Christian Scott pitches really good, he could take that spot. So be careful and look out for Christian Scott, because this is the guy that we have to look out for. This is a guy definitely very, very close to the majors. And obviously we have guys like Mike Vassell, guys like Blake Tidwell to talk about, but getting into Christian Scott, I'm just excited about him. I'm very, very excited about him. And he looked really, really nasty in that spring training game. Really, really nasty. Now we're going to get into definitely, overall here, the next slide we're going to talk about, and that is going to be the number 10 prospect, Blade Tidwell. Okay, so Blade Tidwell is a guy that has a fastball that can get up to 98 miles per hour. He has a really, really good slider. And, he's working on his changeup. He's working on refining his changeup. But this guy, Blade Tidwell, is a guy that we have to look out for as well, because Blade Tidwell is a guy that could throw 98 to 99 miles per hour. That is something that is very, very impressive, and you can't teach. And I like Blade Tidwell. I like this guy a lot. He is young. He did get drafted a few years ago, so he's not close to making the major leagues just yet. But definitely look out for Blade Tidwell. Look out for his stuff, because they like his arm. The Mets like his arm a lot, and he needs to refine his changeup. That is something that he has to work on to make him a big league, real starter, a competitive starter out there. But his fastball looks really good. His slider looks nasty. And yeah, I'm excited about Blade Tidwell. I think Blade Tidwell is a guy that we have to look out for when it comes to the pitching prospect. So let's hope that he does well. Let's hope that he refines his stuff. Let's hope that he works on his stuff to get better. But I like his stuff. I really do like his stuff. And now let's get into another prospect, and that is Mike Vasil, a guy that, Mike Vasil is a guy. I like Mike Vasil. I think he's a guy that definitely, he had a really good double-A in 2023, and then he got promoted to AAA, and he struggled, guys. So Mike Vasil is a guy that could, has a fastball, has a changeup, has a gyro slider, a cutter as well. He has pitches, okay? He could throw a curveball as well, but he has pitches, but they're not above average when it comes to his breaking balls. And that is something that Mike Vasil has to work on. And obviously in AAA, he struggled in AAA, if you guys don't know, but that is something that the Mets, have to look out for in 2024 when it comes to Mike Vasil, because he's going to be in AAA to start the season. But I like Mike Vasil. I think this guy is a guy, he pitches with confidence. He had a really great double-A, season, but then he got promoted to AAA and he struggled. So that is something that the Mets have to look out for when it comes to this guy. But I think when it comes to Mike Vasil, I like his stuff. I like his fastball. But it seems like, in the Mets pipeline and in the prospects, this guy is not seen as high, as a Christian Scott, as a Blade Tidwell. Now that could change, obviously, when it comes to, the MLB. You don't know what these guys are going to be. You don't know what they're going to be, but definitely you can predict how they're going to profile. But I'll tell you this, AAA pitching is more competitive than AA pitching. So obviously seeing Mike Vasil struggle in AAA, that's a little concerning. But I think if he can, refine his stuff, his breaking balls, get better, that is something that we have to look out for. But I'm excited about these guys. I'm excited about Blade Tidwell. I'm excited about Mike Vasil. I'm excited about Christian Scott. And yeah, man, these guys, the Mets are in a position right now that they haven't been in a position in some time when it comes to these starting pitching, these prospects. So I like Mike Vasil. I hope that, this season, 2024, he can possibly make his debut in 2024. Obviously, if there's some type of injury, or maybe he needs to be called up for one day or something like that. But I think you're going to see Mike Vasil in 2024. That is my prediction. I also think Christian Scott, you might see him as well in in the majors as well. So look out for those guys, but definitely I'm excited about them. Now let's get into the next thing that we're going to talk about. And that is overall, guys. That is overall. More pitching prospects, guys. Yes, we got Brandon Sprout, who's the number 13 prospect in the MLB pipeline. And obviously, Blade Tidwell was the number 10. 11 is Mike Vasil. So, and, Christian Scott is the 5th when it comes to Mets prospects. But definitely, I really like these guys. I like, Brandon Sprout. If you guys didn't see in that spring training breakout game, Brandon Sprout is a tall guy. He can throw up to 98 to 99 on his fastball. Now, the Mets officials, they are, trying to refine the shape of his fastball. But when they find that out, he's going to be a monster. He looks like a guy that has really plus stuff. That fastball is something, that you really got to take it, you encounter for it. But I like his stuff. I like he also, his best pitch, his secondary best pitch is his changeup. So, and he had a really good slider in that spring breakout game as well. So Brandon Sprout is a guy that has a fastball that can throw up to 98 to 99 to 100 miles per hour. That's what I love about him. And he he was just striking those guys out. He was just looking really, really good in that 1, 2, 3 inning. Um, but his changeup is the best, really, the pitch that he has, when it comes to secondary stuff. But his slider looked really good in that game as well. Obviously, it's spring training, so you got to take that into account for it. But I like his stuff. I like Brandon Sprout. He's gonna be definitely, he just got drafted literally last year, so he's gonna take time to get to the major leagues. But I'm excited about him. Definitely excited about Brandon Sprout. Now let's get into number 14 in the MLB pipeline. And that is going to be Dominic Hamill. Now, Dominic Hamill is a guy, that has a fastball up to 96 to 97 miles per hour. He has pretty good stuff. His breaking pitches are pretty good. His slider is actually above average, goes from an RPM of 3,000. And that is something that is very, very impressive and you cannot teach. So I like Dominic Hamill. I like his stuff. I think Dominic Hamill, he's going to start the season in AAA, and he could also be a guy that can make the major league roster in 2024 at some point. Now, obviously, that's going to come down to injuries. That's going to come down to availability and what happens when it comes. But I like Dominic Hamill. Apparently, he profiles comparisons to Seth Lugo. That is so. If you think about Seth Lugo, I liked him as a starter. I liked Seth Lugo, what he brought. Now Dominic Hamill, I like his stuff. I think this guy, he was gonna pitch in the WBC as well, but that didn't happen last year. But this is a guy that I like. I like Dominic Hamill a lot. He started the game for the spring breakout game, and he looked really good. I liked his fastball. I like what he brought. He has some good breaking pitches. So we'll see what ceiling, what happens when it comes to a guy like Dominic Hamill. But I like his stuff. He seemed like he was confident on the mound, and that is something that you can't teach. You cannot teach that confidence. So I like this guy a lot. Will he make the major league debut in 2024? I really don't know. But when it comes to that situation, I think Tyler McGill, Jose Budo, there's going to be a lot of pressure on those guys because you have guys like Christian Scott. You have guys like Mike Vassell and Dominic Hamill that are possibly in the running for that spot, obviously at some point to make, to be in the rotation at some point. Now, obviously, it's going to come down to injuries. It's going to come down to health, and it's going to come down to how they perform at the end of the day. But I really, really do like Dominic Hamill. I love Christian Scott. What he has shown, oh, man, Christian Scott looks so exciting. I think he's possibly the most exciting prospect in the pipeline. And then you got, obviously Mike Vassell, who is exciting as well. And I hope that he can, refine his stuff in AAA. And then we got also Tyler Stewart to talk about. Number 18, he was a guy that he was a reliever, but they converted him into a starter, and he put a 2.20, ERA up in a high A, so I like Tyler Stewart. I think this guy has some good stuff. And we'll see what the future holds for him. But I like that there's actually pitching prospects that we can talk about. Now, there's also a guy right here. I didn't put him on the screen. He's on the screen, but Noah McLean, he's a two-way player, third round draft pick. Definitely a guy that you should be excited about because he's a pitcher and he's an outfielder, a DH type as well. But I like his stuff. He has a 3,300 RPM slider. And if you guys saw that spring breakout game, you saw that nasty run on his slider. It's crazy. It's possibly one of the top 2 sliders in the game. Something to really take a cannon for. And I'm excited about Noah McLean. It's obviously going to take him some time to get to the major leagues because, he was just drafted recently. But I like his stuff. I like, also his bat is supposed to be very explosive as well. He hits balls high velocity, high exit velocity. So when it comes to those guys, I am excited about these guys. I am excited overall about the Mets pitching in general. And yeah, man, I'm very, very excited. At the end of the day, I hope you guys are excited for these pitching. I hope that somehow we do become stacked, because are we stacked at the moment? I don't know if we're stacked, but we're in a better position than we were in the previous years. And that is what I like about the Mets and David Stearns and picking up pitching, drafting pitching. That is something you should always try to do. Get better with pitching, drafting pitching, do a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to that stuff. So yeah, guys, that's going to be the video. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. LFGM for life. You guys know the vibes, man. I'm out of here. Stay blessed.